right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bart Winkler. Welcome into the Winklerverse, where stalwarts of the verse, Grant Bills and Paul Immig, are here today for this week's edition of MmHmm. You can check us out, Spotify, Apple, I believe Odyssey as well, the greatest app of all time, and the Dan Schani YouTube stream. So this is a light week for the pod. You're like, every week's a light week. No. Last week we did 3 episodes. Most week I still do 2. This week's a little busy. Paul, you are muted. Okay.
I knew it when I said it, but they're called 2 a weeks, not 2 a days. That's a good brand name.
Not 2 a days.
2 a weeks.
2 a weeks. My thanks to Rich Gannon, who was on the Infinity Sportsnet show.
I heard it.
Thought that was good.
Yep.
My thanks to Paul Allen, who I talked to for the 17th time in my life. And the best thing about talking to Paul is he always thinks it's the first.
Well, you get to make a new friend every time you have him on.
He's my personal 51st dates.
Did you tell him?
No.
Like, hey, you also gave me a chip at a Vegas casino one time.
Yeah, I was the awkward encounter you had at the link.
So much mileage out of that story, by the way, the Las Vegas casino chip. You should go to Canterbury Park and just introduce yourself and see if the same exact thing happens. Well, it's nice to meet you.
I'm getting a lot of mileage. I brought the call center stuff back this week. I always think of you when I do that. But no, just the one episode this week because it's been a busy week. I had to get situated. I am coaching my kid's soccer. So he's going to play games. 5 of the kids are like his buddies from daycare, and then there's like 3 other randos that I got to assimilate. So that'll be fun. That's on Saturday mornings, which is going to be brutal.
You have to coach them. Assimilate's an odd. Well, I guess
I got to assimilate them into the group. Yeah. There's already a group.
I'm with you, Bart.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
So the goal is, I just want these kids to figure out if they like soccer or not.
And it's on you to make sure it happens.
And it's going to be on YouTube because I'm going to stream the games.
See if you can do the impossible. Make people like soccer.
Oh, still cranking out the.
Oh, it was intentionally. It was like a purposeful, like, you know.
Also,
I played soccer growing up. Who didn't?
Grant?
I played soccer. I love soccer. You get to run. You're out in the breeze. Playing soccer is great. Watching is not my favorite, but I won't. I was just going to versions on anyone that does like watching it. That's nice for you if that's your thing.
The tried and true and overplayed to the point of where it's now parody soccer, like jabs.
Well, again, I'll make my soccer point is that when your kid does a sport, you've already seen that sport played at the highest level. When your kid plays football, you know football. When your kid plays baseball, you've seen baseball. Same with hoops. A lot of people, their first watching of soccer is 7-year-olds chasing butterflies, and they think this is really dumb. And it is. But if you watch it at the highest level, then you can understand it. But he is graduating daycare on Friday. And when I say graduate, I mean they are going to make him walk with the cap and gown.
Really?
Get the diploma. And just thinking about it is very emotional. Why are they doing that to us? What are you doing? Making kids do grown-up things is instant. Like you ever see a kid in a suit at a wedding? You're like, holy shit, this is fucked up. I can't deal with this.
I'm watching Garrett Mitchell hitting the cleanup spot today. It makes me want to cry. So
see, we're at different life stages.
Yeah, different life stages.
All right. With that said, Paul Immig, our master, take it away.
The master,
yeah,
the MmHmm master. All right, I have a new game I'm going to play in a little bit, but I'm going to start with our traditional and it's inspired by
a new game,
a new spin-off.
It's fun. Wow.
But I want to start with and it's inspired by a tweet that I saw today. Justin Tucker, Ravens kicker, was coming onto the field, Justin Tucker, the practice field in Green Bay. Justin Tucker is great. The Packers kicking situation is terrible. Someone had, quote tweeted in addition to the picture of Justin Tucker or the video of Justin Tucker around the field saying, "And now don't let him leave." So, as we do, we explore.
Don't let him leave.
This was it. I forget who it was. I didn't get to save it, but
Can you imagine if Goody was like either one up in the office trying to figure out ways to trade for Justin Tucker?
All right, so yeah,
or two, they actually captured Justin Tucker.
Either way, so you're in the spirit of what I'm thinking because we play hypotheticals that oftentimes are just for the fun of the discussion. Justin Tucker, great. Packers kicking situation, terrible.
Can I just answer the question?
Well, hold on.
Let me just answer a question.
Go ahead.
A second round pick.
That was it. You would trade a 2025 second round pick.
That is it.
That was it. That was the number.
Yes.
That was the
second round pick. Yep.
Grant.
Not a chance.
How come?
Because this could get
because next year's actually a good kicking class, so Grant could take a guy.
No, because this team is not going to win or lose playoff games this year because of a kicker. I don't think.
Didn't they last year?
No,
exactly.
I don't think they did last year. Jordan Love threw 2 picks. The offense had the ball a couple of times. No. Second round. I love the topic, by the way. I love the topic. What would you give up to have the best kicker in the? It's a great topic. I wish I had more to give you other than no, I would not do that.
Let me ask you this though, boys. Do you think the Ravens would say yes? I do not.
No, I don't. They would say, "Mm-mm."
They would say, you're going to give us a second round pick for the best kicker in the league? What do you think they would try? I think it'd be a second and a next year second. I don't even think they'd do that then.
I don't think they would.
I don't think they would.
I don't think they would. I think if
kickers are becoming, they're so stupid. It's such a dumb position. Right. But if you have a good one, you need to keep them.
So Grant, actually, Grant's already out on that. So wait, let me first answer Grant. 4th round, or Grant?
Well, now the question becomes it lands differently for me. It's you could have Justin Tucker on your team this year, and that's cool. That's cool. And for only a 4th round pick, I might do it because it's cool for a 4th round pick.
3rd.
I mean, I'm in.
Is it weird now that I'm forced to say this out loud?
I'm on the edge to be like, fuck it, do a 1st.
Is it stupid that I would do a 4th and maybe a 3rd, but a 2nd's too much?
That is dumb.
Huh.
That's dumb.
I wouldn't trade any first. You just can't justify it.
All right, so this is going to play into my upcoming game. Lucas Van Ness for Justin Tucker, or
No.
Christian Watson for Justin Tucker, or
No.
Jaden Reed.
No.
Justin Tucker, or all right, I guess we can stop there. I didn't know, so now you can start to say, okay, late 1st round pick, mid to late 2nd round pick. If you talk about Van Ness.
But you're talking about assets that we know.
Right. Now you know that.
Easier to get rid of something that you don't know.
Right. Okay, so what you really don't know yet, Jordan Morgan. You don't really know him yet. He's your starting guard, presumably. Jordan Morgan for Justin Tucker, or
I'd have to say no.
Edgerrin Cooper or Javon Bullard. These are your 2nd round picks for 2024, just to refresh.
No.
So it's fun.
You already invested. I mean,
it's fun once you're saying, oh, okay, so.
But I still would, if the Packers, if it was announced that the Packers traded next year's 2nd, if it was announced that they traded any of those guys for Justin Tucker, I'd be like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
I'd be happy to have Justin Tucker. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, Justin Tucker would presumably have a bigger impact on the 2024 season than Lucas Van Ness, right?
No?
Mm.
Well, didn't we do top 5 most impactful kicker or players the other day, and 2 of us said Anders Carlson.
Whoa.
No,
I did.
Did you? Did you land there?
Who's going to make the most impact on the 2024 Packers?
Well, the most
important. Love.
Yeah.
I don't
think you did say that, but maybe you've since.
I don't remember us saying Carlson. Could be wrong. I hope I didn't. That'd be stupid. If you guys did, that's one thing, difference of opinion. But I
may have brought it up. But so you would say, though, regardless of what was said a couple weeks ago, you would say Anders Carlson is a top 5 most important Packer this season, Bart?
I would say, yeah, because he's bad and needs to be good. And there's going to be a lot of chances that come down to him.
All right. So this leads into this idea of because future draft pick versus the reality of a guy you know. I made up a new game all on my own. It's called Call or Fold.
This is my buy or sell segment that's what I'm doing on the show. Grant doesn't listen every day like you, Secco.
I try to get to it. I'm a good friend.
So call or fold. But the thing with call or fold, because it's buy or sell. Okay. But if there's something I really like, I can raise. And if there's something I really hate, I can just leave the table.
Okay. So it's call or fold or leave the table or raise.
Which we will do right after these messages. Oh, shit.
What a pro.
From Happy Place Hemp. Promo code is BART. 25% off each and every order at happyplacehemp.com. We are talking about the gummies. We are talking about the balms. We are talking about the lotion. We are talking about the tinctures. We are talking about the dog treats. People don't know this. I talked about how I picked up some CBD, CBN nighttime gummies for Tim to help him sleep, Tim Shea. And actually, we've gotten so close with the Happy Place Hemp guys that they've let us experiment a little bit. So Tim was set to have a dog treat, and I paid him $100 if he could let me leash him up and bark like a dog and eat the treat out of a bowl. And he did it. Now, whether that story's true or not, you'll have to be the judge. Whether it's funny or not depends on how many gummies you take. So check them out, happyplacehemp.com. The promo code is BART. You get 25% off every single order. We've been doing this for 2 years. Imagine how many times you've been able to use that code. So do you know how many times I go online before I buy something and type in, what is a code for sneakers? And I find 10% off codes and none of them work. This one works every time. BART, 25% off. Even if you've ordered before, even if it's been a while, the code still works. Get free shipping on most orders or pick them up in Muskego, happyplacehemp.com. And check out their seltzers. Promo code is BART. All right, Paul's got a new game for us. This is very exciting, but it sounds like it's the game he's ripping off my Infinity Sports Network show, which I have noticed a trend. I get better as the week goes on. My Monday shows are ass.
I think you've identified the reason.
Well, but it's hard. It's hard because I live like a weekend.
Yeah.
And now on Sunday night with football.
Barty going to do some drinky, as you've said in the past.
Barty likey drinky.
All right. My original game, raise, call, fold, or leave the table. Mm-hmm. And it plays into what we were talking about with Justin Tucker for a second or whatever the case would be. And I am going to read you a Packers recent draft pick, and you're going to call or fold. Essentially, what I want you to do is this player leaves the team. So we're going to start with, we're not going to do the 2024 class. We don't know anything. We'll start with 2023. And I'm going to say Lucas Van Ness. He was a 13th overall pick. You can either keep Lucas Van Ness or you can get a 2025 13th overall pick. Right? You don't get this past draft. So the next draft, you can have the 13th pick.
Wow.
Or you can have Lucas Van Ness. You can have Luke Musgrave, or you can have the 42nd pick. You can have Jaden Reed or the 50th pick. Tucker Kraft or the 78th pick. So let's just go through that. Lucas Van Ness, call or fold. Call being, I'm keeping Lucas Van Ness, fold or leaving the table or whatever being, I'm maybe leaving the table is I'm running so fast to take the 13th overall pick in 2025. Lucas Van Ness, be damned. So the player leaves the team right now. You know, I know this is hypothetical, it's stupid, it's fun, hopefully. So Lucas Van Ness or the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL draft.
I'll tell you, if I was not a Packer fan, I'd probably take the pick.
Are we too close on this one?
We might be too close because now I'm like invested in making it work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep Lucas Van Ness.
Wow. If you're keeping Lucas Van Ness over the 13th pick, you might be keeping like damn near everybody.
I'm worried I may.
So I'm going.
But is that the good old SCF? The sunk cost fallacy?
Ooh, you're sunk into Lucas Van Ness. I like Lucas Van Ness. The 13th overall pick is extremely.
But if he's on the Rashawn Gary path, well, look at Rashawn Gary.
I know.
Grant.
I'm definitely not like running away from the table. I'm definitely also not raising. Right?
I would call.
This is a fluctuating one, right?
Yeah, if there was a double raise, I might bow out.
Grant.
I would call because I think if the Packers were to get the 13th pick in next year's draft, they would just draft another Lucas Van Ness or Rashawn Gary, and we'd start this godforsaken 3 or 4 year development plan all over.
You're not wrong.
So we already have a year into him. I think he's going to be really good this year. So I'll take Lucas Van Ness going into his second year for this Super Bowl window team rather than starting over with probably another really, really, really toolsy big picture prospect.
Totally fair. For what it's worth, this year's 13th overall pick, Brock Bowers.
Interesting.
You can trade Lucas Van Ness for Brock Bowers right now.
Oh, wait. I thought you meant like a draft that hasn't happened yet.
No, I was.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm just trying to make it real. So like, let's say Brock Bowers was he was the 13th pick.
I'd rather have Brock Bowers.
See, now it makes it tricky because now you're putting a real face. You're not just saying, "Oh, this hypothetical future asset."
I don't think I would.
Although I don't think any first round tight end has got that second contract in the last 10 years.
Maybe it's silly because Musgrave and Kraft are a terrific young.
So much good Kraft buzz today at camp. I don't know if you guys were reading tweets, but a lot of Kraft buzz.
Nice. So wait, just for curiosity, Brock Bowers for Van Ness. Yes. What do you think?
I'm gonna take Van Ness.
Interesting. All right. And we don't have to go exhaustively through this, but I'm going to go three in a row because I think the answers will be you'd keep. So Musgrave or the 42nd pick, Reed or the 50th pick, Kraft or the 78th pick. Call or fold?
I think I would call.
I think I would do. They had an awesome draft last year.
They did.
This would be. I don't think I would call on every single pick of every Packers draft ever, but last year's draft, for example, is I think we all believe is excellent.
Anders Carlson or the 207th pick?
I would just pass. I would say I don't want either.
Just giving up the 6th. And
how long do we ride out? Like honestly, how long do we ride out a shitty kicker?
A month. This season, a month. One more month. They've got the development. What do they call this new program? They brought in a kicker yesterday.
Yeah, they had it's an international program, and the guy they cut. Forgive me, I don't know his name, but I really liked him. I did.
Does anyone else, by the way, with what they did with the international player pathway rule, does it seem effed up to anyone else? They got rid of a guy who's from Africa, I believe, and replaced him with a kicker from Australia. I feel like that goes against the spirit of what this rule is trying to do.
So they're like using the rule to have an extra like competitive roster spot instead of get a guy a chance.
Well, it'll be a developmental spot. It's just like that program seems to me like it's establishing pathways for players where like
this is so the Packers can have another kicker in camp.
He's from Australia. Like there's football in Australia. Like, you know what I mean? They're not growing the game by holding on to a kicker from Australia.
Particularly,
I mean, they're gaming the system, I think.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You can't see all these guys that you brought up and like Lucas Van Ness, if we're talking about him, there's development there. You want him to develop. And even with like a quarterback, you're developing Jordan Love. And last year you were developing him along with the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if there's any position now where it's just like, fuck it, I'll just grab one of these 30-year-old Joey Slies off the market and he can kick for me for 8 months and then I'll get another guy. Like, why not? Why do anything different? Why develop a kicker? Are you out there looking for the next Justin Tucker? That's stupid. There's like 2 kickers that are like really great. Then,
who you wouldn't trade a second round pick for?
Then there's a lot that are like, I mean, I don't know where. Who are some of these guys? Matt Prater and just guys that McLaughlin, I think, is one. Just guys that like bounce around and you never know where they are.
Greg Joseph.
Yeah. To develop a kicker just seems like a backwards ass way of thinking. Like the reward is, so you're gonna develop a guy over a year, even a year.
When they were rebuilding.
You're wasting a it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
If there was a year to move on from Mason Crosby, was last year not the perfect year to do it?
It was.
Oh, Crosby should have been out here 3 fucking years ago.
Okay, so we can disagree on kicker, but the people who are like, we should still have Crosby. He's fucking old. Like, no,
fucking old. He wore number 20. He wore number 20 fucking 1 last year with the Giants.
Yeah.
And you think that's a serious kicker?
He was at the Rams for a while too, wasn't he?
Although he was, you know where he just was? He was at the Steve.
Really?
Forward Madison brought him in, yeah.
What's a Mason Crosby appearance fee?
I don't know. Apparently John Kuhn's going for like $20K, so.
Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Quay Walker.
You think like trickle down economics would work, but not with John Kuhn. Not with John Kuhn.
Quay Walker or the 20.
Oh, I threw, dude. You know that Brewers shirt I wore? MKE, the 414?
Sure.
I got to toss it. I saw John Kuhn wearing it yesterday. I got to get rid of it. Look, he wants to make an enemy out of me. I'll make an enemy out of him.
Grant, your thoughts?
On Quay Walker?
Sure. Quay Walker.
Or 2010 John Kuhn. I would take 2010 John Kuhn on this team in a heartbeat.
Well, I'll give you some examples of guys who went. Or if you were
what touchdown of his against the Seahawks did you like the best in that championship game? Was it the one where he got stopped, or was it the one where he tripped? Or was it the one where he didn't score?
Why is Paul the one covering his screen?
I just like to mess with Bart when he starts to go on his tangents.
Quay Walker, or what pick was he?
22. Here are some guys who went around that pick this year. So Quinion Mitchell, corner, Toledo, went 22. Brian Thomas Jr., the receiver who went to Jacksonville. And then Terrion Arnold, the corner who went to Detroit. That's 22, 23, 24. Quay Walker, you'd call or fold.
See, the thing, and maybe I'm going against the spirit of your game, but the Packers have a Super Bowl window the way I see it. Like starting this year, maybe for another 2 years.
I'm going against the spirit.
Okay, so I'm going against the spirit. Yeah. If we're just talking pound for pound, I think they could get a better player at that pick.
It's essentially like asking this player you believe is going to live up to or has lived up to that spot, and that you're better off trading it in for a different chance, a better odds at maybe getting another chance at it, or you're keeping the player and saying, yeah, he's lived up to, or I believe is going to live up to that draft position.
Then I would take a redo.
Don't think of it too like literally in terms of like, well, we need this player.
Okay. No. So I see what you mean. I think you could do better at that pick than Quay Walker. I also think there's a chance that if like Edgerrin Cooper's good this year, Quay Walker is responsible for less. He's got a better running mate, and he's actually pretty awesome. Right. But then maybe that's the problem with inside linebackers is they're kind of relying on the guy next to him to split responsibilities. And but I think they could do better at the pick. So to answer, I think your question along the spirit in which it was asked, I would fold.
Yeah. I mean, I came up with a silly way to approach it just because of Bart's new game that is 0 for 1 so far in terms of his equipment not failing him midway through the game. So hopefully that's not a...
We tried our segment, and I got kicked off the air twice on Tuesday to the point where while he was replaying an interview that I did from 3 weeks ago, I was recording a segment to play for the next segment. So I could have just deuced out of there, but I was recording segments that then he would then play live. And so, but then the buy or sell part, his intros are like 2 minutes. And I was just shitting on him. It's funny.
I mean, if you hadn't called it out, I would have been texting. You'd be like, "Hey, let your guy know he's got to cut these down a little bit."
But isn't that the fun? Carlos on the show has been awesome.
Awesome, yes.
I think 2-minute intros are great. The more fun sound effects and references, the better. For intros, at least. Maybe not for
It was like a setup, but if I just gave every detail.
Oh, Grant, are you talking about show intros? I think they should be at least 7 minutes.
No, I was talking about show intros. I didn't know it was Carlos explaining the rules. Okay, that's different.
No, not the rules, but like the setup to the question. So like if I was to say Quay Walker or the 22nd overall pick, Quay Walker, of course, was born on, September 9th, 2003. He went to elementary school at, whatever, but it was a lot of
there. He developed his love for football.
Right. It was like, right. It's as if you were doing like the biography of like, but in all sincerity, yeah. Carlos, if you're listening,
Paul, your Hot Pocket's done.
You've been great. It does sound like that. I've not listened to your Wednesday night show too much yet, but I'm looking forward to the part where the call out of it says, "Why did Lean Pockets get discontinued?" Like that's on the description of the hours episode.
It's really hard for me. Like I understand. Content. I've been on the radio for a while now, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But there's still but I feel like I have, I have the bits. I have the hits.
Yeah, play the hits.
And I have a Hot Pockets. I have a hot, I can do hey, do your Hot Pockets thing. I got 5 minutes on Hot Pockets.
You've got material. Yep.
But when I do it, even if it's for the first time on the show, because this is a completely different audience, but I always feel like I've already done it.
Yeah, let that go.
Because everything I've ever done, I don't know what I haven't hit yet, besides eating wings on a toilet.
Have you not?
I know.
Did you allude to it? You did at some point.
Maybe I alluded to it.
Some of your early work with Chuck, like you made him really upset. So maybe you've changed your opinion on some of these things. But a couple that I remember, one was that you would run on the field to like grab the baseball or the football, or like you would get arrested and you would make a scene of it if it helped your team.
Yeah.
And he was
Have I done that?
I don't think you've done that yet. So you can have that one ready. By the way, that was one of like the early like Chuck being so disappointed. Grant, I don't know. You probably were in high school when that take happened, but Chuck is on the other end of this thing, just going, Bart, you can't. You don't mean this. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah. When I got him disappointed, it was like
disappointed in Bart, Chuck, like who just was like, it wasn't mad, it wasn't angry, it
wasn't also disappointment. It was like a just bewilderment of why.
Also, like, this is my partner. God, fuck.
But I think I did this 2 nights ago. I did my Bobby Knight has had a negative impact on the coaching profession.
So I heard you do it on the national show, but I don't think I ever heard you do that one locally.
Oh, I've done that one.
Have you gone into your Babe Ruth thing yet? Yeah, you have.
I've kind of changed my Babe Ruth tone.
That's what I'm saying. I knew there was a couple that you've evolved with.
I've changed my tone on Babe Ruth as if we've been commenting on his career in real time. It's like, well, actually, the last couple of years, like with Brady, I
got new information.
Yeah.
Yep. You got new.
I think there's a lot more to the Babe Ruth story than we know.
Fair. Let's just do a couple more of these just for fun. Basically, you're saying like this player's lived up to my expectations, or I would trade it in. Devontae Wyatt.
But still, if you took Babe Ruth, if you just went in time and said, "Hey, Babe Ruth, get in the time machine, go hit 5th," he'd be Matt Stairs. That I still agree with.
Yeah.
But if you took Babe Ruth and were like gave him the same resources, then he'd be good.
Right. Devontae Wyatt.
Just like if you took Garrett Mitchell and took him back to the 1920s, he'd still probably strike out 4 times in a game.
I wish you would have said that in a couple minutes because I have a transition, a pivot topic. You want to do a couple more? Devontae Wyatt, 28th overall. Obviously, sell, right? Leave the table.
Devontae Wyatt.
Okay. I might fold on that, but let's not act like they haven't gotten way worse players with the 28th overall pick before.
I think like Derek Sherrod was like 30th.
Yeah. Clinton Dix was probably not the best example, but
here's another one.
Jones.
Eric Stokes, 29th overall pick.
Ugh.
Like, there's a good chance that Devontae Wyatt is a really nice rotational defensive lineman this year and makes plays, not every week, but has some big plays throughout the year. And for a 28th overall pick, I don't think that's bad. I think you could go either way on this one, and I would be fine with it.
The only thing I would say is, remember, they drafted him old. He was already 24. So I already kind of came into that being like, he better produce pretty quickly, because this isn't like drafting Rashawn Gary or Lucas Van Ness, where you're taking
Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's probably the best example of that.
Much better example. Thank you. The 28th overall pick this year was Xavier Worthy. So, I would trade Devontae Wyatt for Xavier Worthy.
We haven't seen Xavier Worthy play a snap of NFL football.
I know that,
Paul.
I know that.
Okay, but you make it sound like, wow, like Xavier Worthy, like you own
the prospect of 2 years ago Devontae Wyatt, the prospect of present day Xavier Worthy, like which one has like the higher, up chart trajectory is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. We can move on.
He's an interesting one though. That's a close one. There's a good, I think, interesting discussion to be had about the 28th overall pick and all of the different outcomes that the Packers have had, because that's somewhere they've picked a lot over the years. So like that's a pick that we have a lot of reference for.
And just on that note, like I said, Stokes 29th.
Randall was close to there back in the day.
Darnell Savage was 21st.
Demarius Randall. Josh
Jackson 45th. Kevin King 33rd. Josh Jones 61st. Your boy Jason Spriggs 48th. Randall was 30th. Clinton Dix 21st. Dayton Jones 26th.
I was going to say Jones was close to there somewhere.
Dayton. All right, we can move on. I was not nearly as alarmed at the Packers' horrific preseason game in Denver. Salacious journalism about how bad the team was. Having said that, their two backup quarterbacks behind Jordan Love, not great. The Packers are at the early stage of their window, right? Like this is a legit Packers team. Ryan Tannehill is available. This was speaking of Chuck Freeman, this was always a Chuck thing. Like you need like an established veteran backup quarterback.
I think Chuck had a Brian Hoyer jersey ready to go.
Yeah, you would think, and that was always like his go-to at that time. And there are teams, the Packers are one of them, where I don't want them to necessarily give up on the two backup quarterbacks, but like also they were pretty stinky in Denver. The Packers should pick up the phone and call Ryan Tannehill.
Let me
or at least get him in queue where you're like, hey, we're not signing you. But in the event something in the next 4 months were to happen to Jordan, we're not actually going to put Clifford in the game. We're going to call you Mr. Tannehill, and we're going to bring you in, and we're going to give you $4 million. Like you don't want to bring him in because you want the backups to keep getting the reps and whatever, but you're queuing him up. You would do that, or.
Well, like how Joe Flacco came back last year.
That was my example in my head when I was putting it.
But they didn't have him there until they needed him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You don't bring him in now, but like you're in your heart.
I think what the Packers want to do with this backup quarterback spot is develop a guy. And I still think it's valuable to have a good backup quarterback. I mean, we saw Mike McCarthy's face, it dropped, and I don't think it's ever really been the same. Same with Robert Saleh when Rodgers went out for both of them. The look on their face was, I mean, it's scarred them.
Yeah.
The Joe Flacco thing, I brought this up last night again, the comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
And I think it should be DeMar Hamlin because he died.
Yeah.
And Joe Flacco came off his couch. And I had a guy call up and he goes, Bart, okay, DeMar Hamlin, he had 2 tackles. Fine, he died. Joe Flacco was on his couch. He says it with the inflection that I say the other way.
Interesting.
Like okay, fine. Joe Flacco was on his couch. That's crazy. DeMar Hamlin died. Like the way I feel about it, he feels the complete opposite. And I pointed out how weird that was because that's the one that I've gotten a lot of, and I did this back in January when it happened or February. That's the one where I get a lot of like, usually I agree with you, but this one, like this is a bridge too far. You thinking a zombie should win comeback player of the year? It's like, well, yeah, motherfucker died. I saw him die. I thought they were going to cancel the season. He came back and played. He came back and didn't just like live a life. He played.
Well, he had a fake punt in the playoffs.
I don't care that he had one. Yeah, he had a fake punt in a playoff game.
Well, it's a regular season award. Can't count that play.
I don't know. I would feel better about the Packers overall if Ryan Tannehill was the backup quarterback. Sure.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, I would feel better about that. I can understand though, maybe wanting to have your guy. The risk is you're not going to need him.
Right.
And the other question is, if Jordan Love goes down, are you a backup quarterback savior away from the Super Bowl? And if Jordan Love goes down, you're probably not going to win the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow went down and Jake Browning went 5-4.
But I would say what would happen?
Flacco went 4-1. Neither of those guys are winning the Super Bowl.
Play out the scenario though, where Jordan Love, knock on whatever, gets hurt in early November, but he's definitely going to be back in mid-December. So he's going to be out for 6 weeks. So if you make the Super Bowl, Jordan Love's way recovered. He's been back for 2 months, right? But you need to not go 2-5 in those 7 weeks. You need to not.
Rodgers came back. They beat the Bears, and then they didn't.
In a very fluky, like they were 9-8,
8-7-1.
8-7-1. Thank you. So you can't use that as like the rule. That was an exception, and that was very odd. So like I would almost say we play a hypothetical game with things that wouldn't really happen. I would give Ryan Tannehill $5 million to sign with me off the record. You're at home. I don't want to hear from you. Here's the playbook. Just do your thing, live your life. But I wouldn't. But hold on.
You want him to work from home. We're going to pay him $5 million to do remote work.
How are you going to get that one past the transaction wire, Paul?
But again, this is just a game we play, right? Just for fun. But what I wouldn't want to have happen is like some team in week 7 is going to get a legitimate team is going to get their quarterback hurt in week 7. And then another team is going to have their quarterback hurt in week 8. But the team who had their starting quarterback get hurt first is going to be first in line to get like the Ryan Tannehill, the Joe Flacco. Do you know what I'm saying? So like if the injury to the quarterback is going to happen, you're better having it happen early so you can get the Flacco, so you can get the Tannehill. Now I know Flacco's not available anymore, but just to use last year's example. So it's like, hey, you're a backup quarterback. Just don't tell anyone. We're in line. Like we're first in line. We're gonna pay a fee so that we get dibs.
A retainer. You did it. You did a good job. Thank you, Grant. Grant, any thoughts on this that you would? How about I'll take Bart's example. You would feel better about the Packers if they had Tannehill as the backup, or.
But it's like I feel better about my house when my lawn's mowed than when it's not mowed.
A nice to have.
Yeah, but if it's not mowed, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll mow it later.
Sure. You're better with it, but you're not.
But the margin of feeling better is so small.
Well, you need to take more pride in your lawn then.
I think I would.
I edged today. I edged.
You edged. That's big.
It was. And the first time I edged, it was really hard. And then this time I edged, it was a lot simpler. So I don't know if the grass was used to the edge or if I think I fucked up edging the first time. It was my first time using it. And I tried to put it in a lawn bag and they wouldn't accept it because it was too heavy. So then I had to go down to this village place and pay $12. That I did the smart thing. Now I'm just filling it in a garbage can, and all of the garbage that I don't want my village to take, I just dump in the dumpsters at work.
I just like that Blink 182 wrote a song about your experience.
They did.
Edging. Thank you. You knew what I was doing. Grant may not know, but
it's a Blink 182 song.
You ain't that cool, little.
Isn't it a newer one?
It's it's from this. Yeah.
Yeah, we play it on our top.
How do we feel about a Happy Gilmore 2 remake?
I'm nervous.
Very nervous.
Zoolander, I loved Zoolander. Zoolander 2 was garbage.
Anchorman 2 was no good.
I didn't.
Dumb and Dumber sequels were no good.
Zoolander 2 should have never happened. Dumb and Dumber sequel should have never happened.
They can't bring the guys back 30 years later when it's clearly like their bodies are larger.
Yeah. The Anchorman one wasn't to the point where I was like, oh, I wish they hadn't done this. Some of them, Zoolander, Dumb and Dumber, are where it spoils the first one a little. I'm nervous.
All right. Anyway, Paul asked a question about who was it? Drew Holiday or some shit?
My answer was going to be if I had 4 hours of sports talk to fill, I would kill an hour with this, but that's not what this is. So honestly, I don't give a shit. Like Sean Clifford's fine. If Jordan Love gets hurt, whatever. like that. But if Jordan Love goes down for an extended period of time, they'll probably call someone, get him off their couch. It'll be fine.
All right. So I'm going to end with one that will get Grant excited. Major League Baseball. And Grant, I know your answer, but I want you to expound, please.
Okay.
Major League Baseball is a better product than the NBA. Mm-hmm. Or mm-mm. And I'm loosely paraphrasing you from something, and just to let everyone know, I'm loosely paraphrasing Grant from a text. I, of course, am strongly mm-mm. I get tired of the NBA. It has its things that drive me nuts. There's a lot of narrative and bad media behavior and just dumb shit, but I love it. But Grant, Major League Baseball is a better product than the NBA. Mm-hmm or mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Every game matters. The good players play almost every day. Tickets are cheaper. It's more fun to go. The
Every
money's
game
reasonable.
matters.
That's the one I was curious about. The every game matters part.
Every game matters to the standings. Every single one. In the NBA, it's like, well, we're all going to make the playoffs anyway, so who cares?
That's true. That part I agree with.
And more teams make the playoffs in baseball now, but tell that to a Reds fan or a Pirates fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they can't buy a playoff berth. So Brewers fans, yeah, maybe we've taken it for granted a little bit. I just, for whatever reason, this is what I texted you the other night, Paul. I come home after work every night. There's a Brewer game on. I have no problem watching it. Like, yeah, sometimes, like I got to stop at the store or whatever, so I'll listen on my phone. But, like, my God, sometimes in the winter when I come home, it's like, I got to watch the Bucks play. And this guy's not playing because there's an injury, and it doesn't even look like they're trying that hard. And then the result of the game, we're going to have conversations of whether it matters or not. So why am I even watching? But if I don't watch, then I don't know what's going on. Yeah, baseball is a better product. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I'm the one who I think inspired this topic for you.
Of course. So. Well, and I think so. I would challenge that the every game matters when you can play 162 and then it comes down to a game, and then you have to go back and say, yeah, man, if only not for that random Tuesday in July, whatever it would be. But like, well, that was the game. Oh, no, that was the game. And when I was more obsessive with the Brewers than what I currently am, like what I'm struggling with, I think is what Bart is struggling with, which is I either want to be all in on the thing that I enjoy. I want to kind of know all the ins and outs. But then once you kind of fall out for 2 weeks, then you fall out for a month, and then you fall out for 5 weeks, I find it difficult with Major League Baseball to check in, because that one game that you're randomly tuning into that you have time for, that fits into your schedule, whatever, it's like, is this representative of the thing? Is this a good example of, like, can I catch up by watching this one game? Will this help tell the story of the past 3 weeks that I missed? Or is baseball the type of thing where you either have to be every day, like you are, Grant, and that Bart and I currently, I'd say for worse, not for better, for me, I wish that like it was part of my everyday routine. But now I kind of feel like I'm out of the loop a little bit. I've lost it, and it's harder to come back in than I think it is with the NBA, where there's almost like these sections of the season. Okay, well, now it's the All-Star break. Well, now it's the trade deadline. Now it's coming up at the playoffs, and like baseball just kind of keeps happening. Anyway, I think
but none of those sections of the NBA calendar matter. Like, when it's going on during football, no one cares. And then when you get to the end of football in January, February, well, they're just, we're counting down the days till the All-Star break, right? Sure. And then the All-Star break ends, and it's like, well, the playoffs are coming up and everyone wants to be rested. It's like, okay, so when do the games matter?
Yeah. It is why I think the in-season tournament, though dumb kind of in theory, was good, because guys clearly tried more. And that's frustrating that it took a silly in-season tournament that...
Did they?
Oh, yeah, they did. Those games were different. And you'll see it again coming up here in like November, December. Like, those games were played differently.
Those games were different.
No, they were coached differently.
They were different in like the last 6 minutes.
I don't agree. So anyway, Bart, this was one that I knew Grant and I had different opinions on. And what is your...
Well, so you took the random Tuesday out of my mouth.
Of course.
Because what sport offers a better experience on that random Tuesday? I think if you're watching baseball on a random Tuesday.
Okay.
And this is also connected to the All-Star games. Why is the MLB All-Star game better than the NBA All-Star game is because
Is it?
oh yeah, because in baseball there's like you're either trying or you're not playing.
Okay.
Like you're not just going to go out there. In basketball, you might like not play defense or you might not whatever. But in baseball, it's not like you're going to half swing a bat or throw 75 or like just let a play go by, or like in the outfield, like, I'll just catch it on a hop. You're trying.
Yeah, you have to try.
Just the nature of the game is so different where it's like stop, start, that the moment you try, and a lot of it's reflex. Basketball, you can actively see when a team is not trying as hard as they can. So baseball is a better product in that way.
Okay.
I think my problem is with 162 games, I've found this summer, I've not watched as much. I don't think I've watched a game this week since I went on Sunday and was on TV, which I still have mixed feelings about. But
let's explore that in a moment.
We don't need to.
I'm actually curious. I was curious about it when I heard you say it.
Well, I waited 5 years. I've been keeping it my son off for 5 years, and then they just tweeted it out. That's okay. Some people were. I was saying. Oh, So with baseball, there's 162 games, and I feel like a lot of these games are missable. There's been things more important to me than the game. Like throughout the summer, I've been watching other things that have just meant more to me than the game. Even the game last night then went to extra innings. I didn't turn it on.
Which is nuts because you work until 1 a.m. in a room with a TV.
Yeah, and I just felt like I don't want to get... See, I didn't want to get sidetracked with that when I'm just trying to focus on doing my show that has nothing to do with this.
That's fine. I understand that.
Now, when it's the playoffs and I can correlate what's happening to the show, like people are like, oh, the Packers play. You didn't take off for the Packer game? Fuck no, it's going to be like the easiest show I ever do.
The baseball playoffs were awesome last year too. Like they were,
and to be on during those is going to be fun. So I don't know. It just feels, and with the playoffs again, the Brewers are 11 games up. They're playing right now as we're talking. I don't care about the bye. Too many the playoffs are too sporadic. That I know the Brewers are good. They're making the playoffs. What's going to incentivize me that I have to see the game tomorrow night against the A's? If anything, the most that I've been invested in this Brewers team is there's been one night where some of our daycare dads, one of the guys was at Pato, and he's like, who should I bet on for a home run? And somebody else said Willie Adames, so we all gave the guy $15. Willie did not homer, but now we always text each other, who do we think is going to homer tonight? And we've still never gotten it right.
That's fun. Dad stuff.
Yeah. We got a little dad thing going on. That's
nice.
Fun.
Hey, you mentioned the Packer game. You're not taking off for the Packer game coming up in a few weeks on Friday night. Did I tell you guys that I have a wedding that night?
Oh,
that's tough.
They're from the Twin Cities, so I don't.
And when you schedule a Friday, Labor Day week, or the next week, you don't think football.
How could you? Yeah. Right now, the high school football. Not to go all Travis Wilson here, but like when you're inviting like high school, that's a conflict. And not an insignificant one, right? Like if your kid is like, you only get so many of those, right? So you don't want to miss your kid playing, and the kid doesn't want to miss a game for a wedding. But yeah, you think you're safe scheduling a Friday night wedding in early September.
When we scheduled our wedding at Lambeau, it was December 31st, but it was a Tuesday that year.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't give us the date until the schedule came out.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's no fucking way they're going to play.
You guys.
But now with the way they schedule shit, who knows?
You guys didn't inconvenience your attendees with a football game. You inconvenienced them in every single other way, with it being on a Tuesday and with it being New Year's Eve.
Well, that's why is that an inconvenience?
Oh,
people do things on New Year's Eve.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Maybe at 24, 25, but when you're 30, 31 years old, and somebody invites you to a wedding where there's an open bar and it's at Lambeau. I mean, we gave them the best New Year's of their lives. I'm dying for a New Year's Eve invite for a wedding.
I'm surprised.
What a great way to celebrate a New Year.
I think that's a narcissistic way of looking at a New Year's Eve wedding.
You can say that, but I'm telling you what people have directly told me. Like Bart, I thought it was a little, he had a New Year's wedding, and then I'm like, holy fuck, this was the greatest thing you've ever given us, sir.
So Grant, you have like standing New Year's Eve plans that if interfered with would be like how that was bold of you wedding people?
No. Maybe Bart's got a point. Maybe it would be nice because everyone feels like they should do something on New Year's Eve, but nobody wants to. So maybe having an obligation like a wedding, maybe it's perfect. I don't know.
I remember one year in college, we were like desperately trying to figure out what could be the best New Year's that we ever experience. And we went to Milwaukee and got hotel rooms to go celebrate at Rock Bottom. And it fucking sucked.
Yeah, of course it did, because you went all the way to Milwaukee.
Well,
Why did you leave lacrosse to go do that?
It just sucked.
Yeah, it was a shitty idea. That's why. You go to Madison, go on State Street. Like, there are other things. Like, fuck, even up to Eau Claire, go out on Water Street. That'd be fun, but...
The best going to Madison that we ever did, me and my roommate were like hell-bent on not going to Mifflin one year.
Going.
Yeah, and they had like our dorm room, it was sophomore year. So our dorm room had a poker tournament on the Friday night.
You were in the dorms as a sophomore?
Yeah, 2 years.
Interesting. Okay.
And so I don't know, I won like a 24-pack of Dew or something. I took it up to my room and it's like 10:30 at night. And we're like, we're like thinking if we should have a beer or what we should do. And he goes, should we just go to Mifflin? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck are we doing? Let's just go. So we went, figured out who we were going to stay with, woke up, Mifflin. That was the best. And then I brought my 24-pack of Dew. I was like, I got the Dew. And people are like, we really thought you weren't coming, and now you're here, and it ruined our weekend.
Yeah, you put us out. Imagine that, but you had New Year's plans, and then someone plans a wedding.
Imagine dragons.
Fair point. Have you ever imagined dragons?
No, I have not.
No, but if I did, I'm sure I would be on top of the world.
Yep.
Wow. That's excellent. Anything else, Paul?
I once said the Imagine Dragons were going to be the Beatles of our generation.
Did you mean it?
Who is the closest to that, though?
Closest to the Beatles of our generation?
Like if you had to, you have to pick one.
Taylor Swift.
Well, that's okay. You're just saying popularity-wise.
As a group?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. Like an actual like music group of a collective of individuals.
We don't have bands anymore.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Foo Fighters.
What? Okay. 2004. Never mind. Who are the Beatles of 2004? I thought like within the last 20 years, but okay.
Who are the Beatles of right now?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. We don't have bands. That's why I said that.
Can it be a band though who like is in their 30th year or their 20th year? Like, does it have to be a new band or can it be like?
Well, sure. Okay. Who are the Beatles of 2004 or 1994? That's a different conversation though.
Coldplay
today. Coldplay.
It is probably Coldplay.
I think Coldplay's good. Have we talked about this?
Right now, the thing of the summer is Creed, so get on board.
See, this is what I told I remember being out at Uncle Wolfie's for breakfast, and we were eating, and I said, you know what? I think I laid it all out for it. I think Coldplay, at some point, they're going to have their Creed moment where everyone goes, you know what? They were good, and I don't know why we scoff at them anymore. And
I'm happy to have been with them since the beginning.
And the person making our coffee laughed under his breath as he was eavesdropping and he laughed.
Oh. I saw the video for Yellow in 9th grade and I thought this band's fucking awesome.
They are.
And Yellow's the entire reason that I never gave them a chance because it was so bad.
And then 40-Year-Old Virgin came and made one joke about him and everyone thought that they were the worst band ever. And I've stayed true and strong and I'm going to listen to them for the next 2 hours until I pick up my kid.
I think Coldplay's had a lot of good stuff. Yellow is not among it.
Shiver's a great tune.
There's a lot of good songs, just not Yellow.
I really wish I could engage in this conversation with some form of uplift. I have to watch Sal Frelick hit right now, and I'm just
all right. And I got to go listen to Life in Technicolor.
Grant, you got to cut one right now. Garrett Mitchell or Sal Frelick.
I got to go listen to X and Y.
Can I get rid of them both?
That's what I thought you were going to say. Okay, bye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya. So Sal's at the plate right now. What do we got for the score?
He hit one out of the infield. Wow. Into foul
we're
territory
taping on Thursday afternoon. It's top 7-0-0.
Yeah.
Why did everybody act like on Wednesday night that extra inning games like the Bucks lost to the Suns in November?
Because it was kind of a meltdown.
How are they so good? They're not good.
The outfield is a 20-year-old, a guy who strikes out 50% of his at-bats, takes some walks and mostly hits singles, and then the other guy, you could remove the outfield from every ballpark and it wouldn't change his statistics. You could move the fence to the edge of the infield and it wouldn't change his stats. That's their outfield. And they're 20 games over 500.
I am sad looking at this lineup. There's nobody hitting over 300. I do think that's a failure of today's game.
Yelich is sitting significantly over 300.
How many people are hitting over 300?
The one true stat of batting average? I don't know.
I mean, it's an important stat. It tells you how many hits you get when you're at the plate.
It's the one true stat. That's what I said.
How many players do you think are hitting over 500 in all of baseball right now?
0.
0 is your answer?
You said 500. Over 300, I'm not sure. Qualified hitters?
Yeah.
Over 300? Like 5 to 10?
9.
Okay. Bobby
Witt, Aaron Judge, Vlad, Stephen Kwan, Ozuna, Yordan Alvarez, Yanier Diaz, Luis Arias, Jose Altuve, Soto's at 299.
Arias shouldn't count. Arias actually is a batting average merchant. He's like if Sal Frelick was better at being Sal Frelick. Which, man, that means Sal Frelick is really shitty.
I'm going to leave you with my favorite joke right now. Can
you pop out the front of your hat? Can you leave me before you? It's all inverted on your left side.
My face is inverted.
Well, it's okay, whatever. What were you going to leave me with?
So I saw this joke and I've been using it and nobody ever laughs.
Okay.
And it's supposed to come up in like casual conversation. So the next time anyone ever says they call you smart, then you're supposed to go, yeah, I kind of am smart. In fact, name any 2 numbers. And then you would name any 2 numbers.
5 and 7.
5 and 7? Yeah, I've heard of them. I think that's funny.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, those are numbers.
Because you're thinking like, oh, 35. What's he going to do?
Add them? Is he going to? Oh yeah.
Yeah. 5 and 7. I know them. That's little misdirection humor, which is always for the best. All right.
I always appreciate. Always.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Nice. Hey, make sure you stream this man's radio show. It's on YouTube.
Facebook.
You got to do hashtag Grant Bills on X.
By the way, a happy International Radio Day, Bart, or National Radio Day. I didn't wish that to you yesterday. I don't even think I tweeted anything about it, but
I talked a lot this week on my show about how most people in this business are garbage humans that just try to elicit a response. And I could make a lot more money and have a lot better career if I just sold myself out to opinions I didn't mean. But here I am working for you on the Infinity Sports Network. I talked to Rich Gannon and he said some stuff I asked him about Tom Brady and his thoughts. And he says, I do think guys need to sit. And that would have been an article if I did a day part in Cleveland. But I'm on a national sports show, so no one gives a fuck, I guess.
You've already made it. You don't need people kissing your butt anymore. You've accomplished it.
No, now I got to be Danny Parkins. I got to get to LA. I got to get on TV.
Take his spot on the score. Do you think they ask you?
No, but 2 people did tweet the score suggesting me. That was it.
Interesting. I hope it's Rami, personally.
Rami will be on there today.
I'll have to listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get ready for my show by watching the Brewers find a way to lose this game and the series. So thank you for this.
I will hit up the Spotify, put the iPods in or whatever they're called, and Coldplay it up until 5 o'clock.
Hell yes. Have a good one, Bart.
Good. See you, Grant. And thank you all for coming into the Winklerverse. I am Bart Winkler. Like and subscribe.